Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into a topic that truly impacts all of us. How to live well for longer. We're talking about extending your health span.
That's right. It's not just about adding years to your life, but crucially, adding life to your years.
Okay, so health span. What exactly does that mean?
Well, health span is that vital period where you're free from chronic diseases and debilitating conditions. It's about maintaining vitality, independence, and, a high quality of life as you age.
Got it. And to guide our exploration today, we've taken a deep dive into the groundbreaking work of legendary scientist Eric Topol,
Ah, yes, Topol.
specifically his best-selling new book, Super Agers, and also his popular Substack newsletter, Ground Truths. He's compiled an incredible amount of research on what genuinely moves the needle for healthy aging.
He really has. Our mission today, then, is to pull out the most important and, frankly, surprising takeaways from his extensive work. We'll cover key pillars of health span, diet, exercise, sleep.
And some cutting-edge science, too, right?
Exactly. Some emerging insights. So, yeah, let's explore these foundational areas.
All right, to begin our deep dive, let's start with something as fundamental as what we eat. Eric Topol highlights a pretty stark fact. Poor diet is linked to 22% of all deaths globally. I mean, that's a higher percentage than tobacco, cancer, or hypertension.
It's staggering.
Yeah. Yet with, 60,000 diet books on Amazon alone, figuring out what a healthy diet actually is can feel incredibly overwhelming.
It really can. And what's particularly striking in Topol's work is his intense focus on ultra-processed foods, or UPFs. He doesn't mince words about them.
How does he describe them?
He calls them alien, industrially produced, unnatural substances. They're not even food. Basically, these aren't ingredients you'd typically find in a home kitchen.
Okay.
And the damage they inflict seems to come from two main angles. First, chemically, they're just loaded with additives and industrial ingredients, things like artificial coloring, high fructose corn syrup, artificial sweeteners, maltodextrin, dextrose, lactose.
Usual suspects.
Right. Hydrogenated oils, palm oil, emulsifiers like soy lecithin, xanthan gum. The list goes on.
And the second angle.
That's the physical processing.
Right.
The manufacturing involves molding, extrusion, pre-frying. It's all designed to maximize digestibility and speed up absorption.
Which causes those blood sugar spikes.
Exactly. Blood glucose and insulin spikes. It's the complete opposite of how natural fiber-rich foods work, which slow down digestion. Topol actually points to the NOVA classification system as a helpful guide here.
How does that work?
It basically categorizes foods into four groups: unprocessed, processed culinary ingredients, processed foods, and then ultra-processed foods. It helps you see just how much industrial tinkering has gone into something.
And the impact of these UPFs, Topol shows it's really significant. There was an NIH trial led by Kevin Hall.
Yes, that one was eye-opening.
It really was.
Yeah.
People on an ultra-processed diet ate an extra 500 calories a day just naturally and gained weight, while those on the unprocessed diet, they actually lost weight.
That's a pretty clear signal, isn't it? This overeating is intricately linked to a disruption of our natural gut-brain signals.
And the health risks aren't trivial.
Not at all. There's a sharply heightened risk for a whole range of cardiovascular and metabolic diseases. We're talking abnormal lipid levels, insulin resistance, widespread inflammation.
Wow.
Yeah, studies have shown notably higher risks for conditions like metabolic syndrome. That's an 80% increased risk. 40% for type 2 diabetes, 23% for hypertension, 55% for obesity, and even a 66% higher risk for cardiovascular death.
That's huge. And what about cognitive effects?
That's concerning too. For older adults, even a modest 10% increase in UPF intake is linked to a 16% increased risk of cognitive impairment. And things like processed red meat, bologna, bacon, hot dogs, regular consumption is associated with a 14% higher dementia risk.
Topol also shares that self-experiment by Chris Van Teleken, the British physician scientist.
Oh yeah, that was compelling.
He spent a month eating 80% UPFs, gained 15 pounds.
And the internal changes were dramatic.
Huge changes in brain connectivity between habit and reward centers. His hunger hormones, leptin specifically, went fivefold higher, and body-wide inflammation doubled.
It's a powerful example. And it highlights that while genes play a role, diet has this massive impact. Interestingly, his identical twin on the same diet gained more weight, 44 pounds more.
Wow, so there's individual variation too.
Definitely. It shows that complex interaction between diet and our individual biology. But the clear message for health span, according to Topol, restrict UPFs to the lowest level possible.
Okay, so practically speaking, when we're at the grocery store, what's the takeaway for us?
Keep it simple. Read labels carefully. Avoid ingredients that sound like they belong in a chemistry lab, right?
Right.
Steer clear of added or fake sugars. Choose items with the fewest ingredients possible. And be really wary of those health claims. On packaging, they often mask highly processed contents.
And the layout of the store.
Topol often advises shopping the perimeter. That's where you usually find the fresh foods. The middle aisles. That's typically UPF territory. There's even an app, Open Food Facts, that can help you scan and identify these things.
That raises an important question, though. Why isn't the U.S. joining other countries like Brazil and Israel in issuing official guidelines against UPFs?
Well, Topol points directly to what he calls the supersized chokehold influence of multinational corporations, or big food, on regulatory bodies like the Department of Agriculture.
Lobbying.
Massive lobbying. He notes they spend twice as much as the tobacco and alcohol industries combined. And historically, the FDA has been, shall we say, slow to act on harmful additives already banned elsewhere, like in Europe. Red dye number 3, brominated vegetable oil.
Things still in our food here.
Exactly. Topol suggests that, looking ahead, UPFs might eventually be regarded much like cigarettes are now. We might see calls for conspicuous labeling on foods and drinks, highlighting their risks.
Okay, so beyond UPFs, Topol then dives into other dietary details, sweeteners, salt, and the big macronutrients. Carbs, protein, fat.
Yes, his analysis is quite detailed there too. Excessive sugar, especially from sugar-sweetened beverages, is undeniably bad. Full stop.
Increases mortality risks.
Yeah, increases all-cause, cardiovascular, and cancer mortality. High intake can even triple the risk of atrial fibrillation. Artificial sweeteners, it's more complicated.
Mixed messages there.
Conflicting reports, yeah. But overall, the data isn't exactly favorable, though maybe less concerning than high sugar itself. Topol does note stevia seems to be among the least concerning artificial sweeteners.
And salt. We always hear about salt and blood pressure.
The link to hypertension is clear, though how much it affects you varies individually. Moderate intake, maybe 1 to 2 teaspoons a day, is generally fine. But above 5 grams of sodium daily, cardiovascular risk increases.
And the average American
consumes about 3.5 grams daily. So not terrible on average, but many are higher. Plus, high salt diets might also pose risks for cognitive impairment by reducing brain blood flow. So limiting added salt, maybe considering potassium chloride substitutes, can help.
Okay, now onto the big 3 carbs, protein, and fat. What's the key message from Topol here?
The type of macronutrient truly matters, not just the amount. He talks about carbotoxicity, but specifically for the bad carbs.
So distinguish between good and bad carbs.
Absolutely. Good carbohydrates, think dietary fiber, non-starchy vegetables, legumes, fruits, whole grains. They actually reduce mortality and disease risk. Bad carbs, like fast-digesting sugars and refined grains, they spike insulin and lead to weight gain.
And protein, especially as we age.
Right. The current recommended daily allowance, the RDA, might actually be too low for older adults because we naturally lose muscle mass with age, sarcopenia.
So more protein might help.
It might, but it's tricky. Extremely high protein diets have been linked to issues like atherosclerosis and pro-inflammatory gut metabolites. Topol suggests up to maybe 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight is reasonable.
But be careful about the source.
Yeah, he advises caution with leucine-rich animal proteins. Honestly, the science on optimal protein intake as we age is still evolving. It's hard to conduct those large-scale long-term trials.
Understood. And what about fats? They've had such a roller coaster ride in dietary advice over the years.
It's a fascinating area, isn't it? There's actually a dedicated gut-brain reward circuit just for fat intake, and it synergizes with sugar to promote overeating.
Making fatty, sugary things irresistible.
Pretty much. But surprisingly, dairy, which was demonized for its fat content for so long, is now linked in some studies to reduced cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes risk, especially things like unsweetened yogurt and harder cheeses.
So the type of fat is key again.
Absolutely crucial. Healthy fats, the monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats from plant sources like olive oil, avocados, nuts, seeds, they're associated with substantial reductions in cardiovascular and type 2 diabetes risk, unlike trans fats, which are clearly harmful.
What about diets like keto?
Even popular diets like the ketogenic diet, while they can be useful for weight loss short-term, Topol points out they carry risks like potentially higher cholesterol, brain fog for some, and even fatty liver disease.
It really hammers home that quality over quantity is the consistent theme, isn't it?
It really is. It's about making conscious, informed choices about the quality of what you're putting in your body.
And finally, in this section on diet, Topol covers some common beverages and food categories we encounter daily.
He does. Coffee, for instance.
Mm,
It gets a pretty enthusiastic thumbs up.
really?
Yeah. Linked to reduced mortality,